Hello, I'm Rex Basterfield and I'd like to welcome you to a video about my Quilcom SIM-FILM. When I was looking into the Hammond Nova chord, I watched various clips of films which made use of the instrument on the soundtrack, and these are old films, and I became quite interested in the quality of the sound on these films. That led me down the rabbit hole of looking into the characteristics of optical soundtracks on films and how they've changed and improved over the years, and their limitations and the particular qualities they bring to the sound. Now, my assumption was that there would be probably several free plugins already available which could simulate this kind of coloration. Now, I wasn't able to find any, but what I did find was people who were interested in creating this kind of sound, and the general recommendation was that you could start with the free isotope vinyl plugin for the crackles and then add various EQ, distortions and so on to achieve the same result. So I thought it would be fun to make a single plugin which did the whole thing for you and a few extra things as well. So here it is, the Quilcom SIM-FILM. So what I'll do now is I'll run through the controls, which I think most of them, if not all of them, are self-explanatory. One or two things may need a bit more attention, and then I'll do some audio demonstration by fiddling with the knobs and so on. The Tech Era provides a knob which controls a very wide-ranging macro which adjusts several parameters at once and aims to simulate the technology going from the late 20s when optical soundtracks first appeared up to the 60s. Round about that time, digital and tape methods were used on film. So this SIM-FILM is devoted to optical soundtracks. If you click on optical, it changes to digital and everything is bypassed, and with a stereo input you get a stereo output. No film print is going to be of perfect quality, of course, so here we can adjust parameters of the actual print quality itself. Grain adjusts the granularity of the film medium itself, so a higher speed film will have larger grain sizes, and that affects the sort of background hiss that you get. Dust simulates the fine specks of dust that you get on a film, and spots simulates larger areas of spots that can be caused from damp and other problems with storage. It was apparently common practice for projectionists to cut out bits of film where there was sprocket damage due to bad handling, and that could cause jumps in the images and in the sound as well. So this is a system to simulate that jump, although to be honest, it might be better for you to just chop bits out in the DAW to simulate that effect. Now, quite obviously, to get any sound off a film you need a projector, and the projector can have various issues which make it less than ideal. WoW and Flutter you'll be familiar with. WoW is a low-speed random variation which simulates variation of speed of the projector. Flutter is a higher frequency pitch variation and runs at 24 Hz because films run at 24 frames per second, and there's a free loop in the projector which can influence this passage of the film past the optical sensor. The size of the optical soundtrack on a film is very tiny, very narrow width, and if the alignment isn't perfect, then you will get a kind of asymmetrical distortion, and if it's really bad, you'll start to pick up the sprocket holes in the light path, which gives a classic sort of buzz to the film. Now you could modulate this knob to simulate the film going in and out of alignment. In a badly worn film or drive system, that would happen, so the buzz won't be constant. The output from the optical sensor is at a very low level, so it needs a lot of amplification, and this usually gives rise to some noise and maybe a little bit of a hum. There's a built-in noise gate, and this can simulate the sort of noise gate you may have found using vacuum tubes in more sophisticated systems. So, to demonstrate these various controls, I've prepared a piece which was lifted from a Charles Dickens audiobook, Christmas Carol, and I've added a couple of tracks of music, well, if you can call it music, using my Quilcom Accord.
The phantom slowly, gravely, silently approached. When it came near him, Scrooge bent down upon his knee, for in the very air through which this spirit moved, it seemed to scatter gloom and mystery. It was shrouded in a deep black garment, which concealed its head, its face, its form, and left nothing of it visible, save one outstretched hand. But for this, it would have been difficult to detach its figure from the night and separate it from the darkness by which it was surrounded. He felt that it was tall and stately when it came beside him, and that its mysterious presence filled him with a solemn dread. He knew no more, for the spirit neither spoke nor moved. "I am in the presence of the ghost of Christmas yet to come," said Scrooge. The spirit answered not, but pointed onward with its hand. "You are about to show me shadows of the things that have not happened, but will happen in the time before us," Scrooge pursued. "Is that so, spirit?" The upper portion of the garment was contracted for an instant in its folds, as if the spirit had inclined its head. That was the only answer he received. Although well used to ghostly company by this time, Scrooge feared the silent shape so much that his legs trembled beneath him, and he found that he could hardly stand when he prepared to follow it. The spirit paused a moment, as observing his condition and giving him time to recover. But Scrooge was all the worse for this. It thrilled him with a vague, uncertain horror to know that, behind the dusky shroud, there were ghostly eyes intently fixed upon him, while he, though he stretched his own to the utmost, could see nothing but a spectral hand and one great heap.
So that's my Quilcom SIM-FILM, and maybe you can find a use for it, maybe not. Anyway, until the next time, bye!